exploring Jenn Soto's silence and her intertwined fate with daughter Maddie.
To be with him alone.
Often.
Yet you were told never trust. Like, none of this stuff makes sense. And that brings us to the next question in my investigation. Where is Jenn Soto? When I ask that question, different ways. Where is she? Physically, where is she? Mentally, where is she? Still with us. Got Janie Lacey and Lauren Mathias. Let me ask you, Dr. Janie Lacey, where do you think she is mentally?
Well, mentally, hopefully that she's getting some type of professional help. When we see these situations happen, we almost see like there's a separation that occurs. There's a disassociation that occurs in order to be able to move on with life. So my assumption would be that if she's not getting professional help, that the natural course would be there's some type of disassociation that happens where there can be an embracing of a reality, but also separating from the reality, which happens as a way to kind of be self-protective. So we would see that sometimes in these cases. But my hope and my guess would be that maybe she's in some type of professional help so that she can really come to grips with what has happened and the part that she has played in all of this, Vinnie.
Lauren, have we seen or heard from her? And do we have any idea where she's been, what she's been doing, and whether or not she's expected to testify at the trial?
I've heard very little from, I think everybody's wondering.
Yeah, this is not one of the big cases that Hidden True Crime is following. However, I believe a lot of people are on that witness list, and they're not going to not have Jenn Soto fill in those blanks, all right? There's no way that they're not going to. Now, is she going to be a good witness? No. She's lied a whole bunch, and she's going to crumble on that stand. But who is that good for? As long as it's not good for her and it helps to get that prosecution and to get it right, that's what I say, all right? And yeah, the Adelson case is another one I've been following, but I haven't covered on here.
The same thing you are, Vinnie. Where is Jenn Soto? And you're right, figuratively, literally, where is she? She's not speaking out. She's staying fairly quiet. I suspect that she would certainly testify at the upcoming trials, but we haven't heard much.
Of course.
It's interesting, right? There hasn't been a statement, because my understanding is she had a lawyer or has a lawyer, and he hasn't even made a statement. And I understand you don't have to, there's no obligation. But in many circumstances like this, where your child is the victim, Lauren, through the years, we've seen someone come out and make a statement and say something, but it's been silence from her and pretty much from her family as well.
Which is the right thing to do, you guys. Literally, I would give you the advice if one of you guys called me and said, hey, I just did this and the police are knocking on my door. What should I do? Everybody says, be quiet and get a lawyer. And that's what she did. Yes, she's a terrible mother. And you know what? That was perfectly said. You say, for me, she's not disassociating. She was realizing she allowed Stephan to abuse and unalive Maddie. That is why she acted like that. And she realized that it's over. Her con is done. Her access to whatever she had access to before, no more. Maddie's not there. Stephan's gone. She's all alone. And look they have pictures. They know. They found out it was for so many years, guys. So many years. So, that's like a lifetime. A 6-7 year, especially in the mind of a little 13-year-old girl that just turned 13. That's a lifetime. She realized the jig is up.
Sister, her mother, etc.
Complete silence, no statements whatsoever. And especially with all of the contradicting things she has said, the criticism she has received, personally, I think rightfully so, wanting to get Stephan an attorney, when she first heard of the abuse of her daughter. I think we're all wondering. And her silence, I guess you could say, is also speaking volumes. Is she afraid of getting charged? Is she afraid of saying the wrong thing? Is she been told to stay silent? But you're right, the silence is deafening, and we're certainly hearing it, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. Dr. Janie Lacey, what do you think that moment will be like if, in fact, she's, and I agree with Lauren, I think she needs to be a witness in this case. If she's in that courtroom on the witness stand talking about her child who's been murdered, her child who's been sexually abused for years, with
Vinnie.
images of that abuse being recorded, and the defendant, the man that she took under her roof, the man who she sent her daughter to sleep alone with in the bed upstairs, being on the stand testifying. What do you think that will be like for her?
Think that it's going to be really difficult, but I also making assumptions that the lack of charges to me is going to suggest that investigators believe that she was more negligent than criminal.
There you go. And that's the thing. What she just said, she was more negligent than criminally liable, unless they were to find something, or when Stephan is coming up with his defense, if there's something that's there, not just, oh, I don't want to get in trouble now, let me put it off on Jenn. No, there really has to be some tangible evidence for her to be arrested and then go through a trial, or if it's not a trial, take a plea. And Shorty Pie, I guarantee you, in my opinion, she was jealous of Maddie. They fought a lot. What mother says my worst nightmare is Woody Allen, meaning my daughter's going to run, and she says it, my daughter's going to run off with a man or stepdad that she fell in love with? There's no way that that statement would have came out at all if that didn't exist of what you just said. All right. No way.
Complicit, right? So I think her role in facilitating access between Stearns and Madeline raises serious questions about the paternal responsibility and protection. So I would believe that there would be a lot of questions around that parental responsibility and that protection. And I would also assume that just because she's has appearance to have maintain this low profile, I would imagine that she's been told to keep quiet, because then it keeps her out of public scrutiny, because with no public statements, then there's nothing that really can be held on to. So to remain silent. But she is a vital witness, in my opinion, because this raises that important question about how do we identify and intervene when children truly are victims, and what is the parental responsibility, especially by her giving access to the.
Agreed. And every single mama bear, every single woman that ever talks about the Soto case just about says the same thing. Now, Rachel, all three of them were reportedly upset, having mental health episodes the Saturday leading up to Maddie's death. If it was premeditated, what could be the motive? The reason I stopped on that is because I do want to answer that question for you. Premeditated can mean up to the minute of something, right? So someone's there and you are, let's say, remember, she had a broken hyoid bone and she was strangled. When you're strangling someone, it takes anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. It could be 2, but 3 to 5 minutes to do this to somebody and take their breath away. That can mean premeditation, that you didn't stop. So it doesn't need to be premeditated like they planned it the day, the week, the month, the year before. It could literally be minutes into taking somebody's life. All right. It's much different when you do this to someone than when you pull the trigger. So, and again, that could be premeditated if you brought it, loaded it, right? So that's what it is. That's what I'm telling you about premeditated, up until the minute. All right, let's keep going. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
A perpetrator.
Lauren, we have about 30 seconds left here. How would you describe the relationship between Jenn Soto and her daughter, Madeline?
Thank you.
Oh, wow. 30 seconds, Vinnie? Really? 30 seconds?
Sorry.
Complicated. You want the mother to be the protector, the fighter. And originally she certainly came out like that, right? She came out and said, I need to find my daughter. She seemed nervous. She seemed stressed. She was working to finding her. And then as time went on, you saw her in sort of this denial of like, oh, I didn't know what was going on. I sent her upstairs to this man, and then protecting the perpetrator. So she went from what we thought was maybe this doting, protective mother to sort of protecting the man responsible for her daughter's death. And that's where the public has become furious and upset.
Exactly. And Frank Shaw, what's up? Frank the Tank from Kissimmee is here. What's up, Frank the Tank? How you doing, my friend? All right. Yeah, she's never was convincing. The whole thing is disgusting. I agree. And we're all appalled as women, as mothers, right? It's hard not to be. It's hard to side with Jenn Soto when she's lawyered up. She's lied over and over. She tried to protect the man that did, in fact, get charged for taking her life, did in fact dump Maddie's body, because we did see We didn't see it, but we heard that there's videos of Maddie not being alive in the car, and then right having a flat tire, be pulled over. He moved her body in the hotel from the passenger to the trunk. So we've seen Stephan with Maddie where she's not alive anymore. And that's what he's being accused for. And then you get the CSAM pictures on top of that. And you can't dispute that. You can't dispute any of that. So that's why I think we're so upset about it.
Absolutely.
I would say it's confusing.
Confusing. Thank you. Lauren Mathias, Hidden True Crime. Dr. Janie Lacey, thank you both so much.
Right.
Prosecutors say Jenn Soto did not kill her daughter. They also say they have no evidence she has done anything illegal. But at this point, no one is really giving her a pass, because not only did she not protect her daughter, she actually put her in harm's way. The question is, did she have any idea what she was doing? I'm Vinnie Politan.
And he knows that's a good question to ask, because we all know by now, right? The ones that have been here for it's been a year and a couple months. Anybody that's been here for a year and a couple months with us know that Jenn Soto is not as dumb as she pretends to be. She's not just that dumb potato that's sitting there and had no idea what was going on. We see her and she's very conniving. Rachel, good to see you, my friend. You guys, what's up? Everybody that came in early and supported the channel has been here. I know you guys could be somewhere else, but you're here. I know the Brian Koberger case is popping. I see thousands and thousands of people. Yeah, the numbers on the doors are disturbing. Very disturbing. And I hear that in that area around Disney World, that people do that and they rent out rooms. But I do think that it went much deeper and it was more nefarious than that with the numbers on the doors. I do believe that they were producing bigger amounts of CSAM than we know, but I think that we will know. All right. And Anaska, she was making her seem like a little vegetable. Yeah. I mean, the evidence is going to speak for itself. And there's nothing that we can do until the trial happens, until Jenn Soto is put out there and we hear her talk. We're not going to hear her talk until court comes, right? I don't think we're going to get another shot at an interview with her. Absolutely. Yep. You can call it